The Mike and Tony Show is intended for a mature audience. Listener discretion is advised.
This is Dan Leahy, and you're listening to the Mike and Tony Show.
It is episode 186.
Yes, sir.
Double checked right before we started, just to make sure.
Yeah.
It's Friday night. How you feeling, Pierce?
Feeling great. Feeling good. It's a little rainy.
Yeah.
I like the rain better than the snow.
Okay.
But, like, it always sucks, right? Like, this weekend, it's supposed to be all fucking rainy. And, like, I work all week, and it's nice and sunny.
Yeah.
And when I can't go outside, it's nice. And then the weekend comes when I can go outside, and then it's rainy and shitty.
I'm actually fine with it this weekend because Maya's out of town, and I'm just going to be working, getting organized. That's it.
Well, I'm going to the Black and Gold game tomorrow.
Oh, that's right. Did you find somebody to go with you?
Yeah. And then the Lil Wayne concert, too, after that.
Oh, really? That's tomorrow?
Yeah.
Holy
right
shit.
after it, so.
Oh, you have to tell me who all's with him.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be a ton of people, I'm sure.
Probably, yeah. So
tonight we have a familiar guest. Hasn't been in this studio yet.
yeah.
The familiar Duncan from the band Relate, back for the second time. How are you, brother?
Yo, what up? Thanks for having me.
I was going to tell you, the hair's looking good. Did you change color at all? You probably don't remember.
That's just the natural color. Just let it grow.
Oh, for real? So like the red color is your natural hair color?
Naturally it's red. I just
When then it lightens up at the end, yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of got like highlights right now, and I'm like, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, dope, dude. So what have you been up to? How's life been?
Oh man, it's been busy, man. Just like a ton of Relate, ton of just like working, playing in a couple other bands, recording bands, living the dream.
Hell yeah. You guys are doing a lot, man. The music sounds really good.
Thanks, man.
I know Diego didn't make it this week, but I would love for you guys to come back with him too. Because last time on the show, you said he was a big part of like the production, right? Like he plays a big role in that.
He does the production.
All of it.
Yeah, I mean, like we do drums in the studio with our friend Nick Noderv too. He's got this dope studio in Parker called Rusty Sun Audio, and then Diego does all the tracking for like guitars and like bass, and he does all like the mix and everything, and then like I record vocals and he puts it all together, and then bada bing bada boom, that's the music.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, he's in Durango this weekend with his wife, so he's like it'd be a little bit of a commute if I was gonna make it up there.
Yeah. Playing a lot of shows?
Yeah, we just got back we did like a West Coast run last month, and then next month we have 3 Colorado shows next month, which is like the most we've ever played Colorado in like one time.
I showed Dollar. I went to Calm Groove.
Oh yeah,
when you were there too. Yeah. So, but it was crazy, and so I was like, I didn't want to say anything, but yeah, I was down there.
Oh, dude, you're at the show?
Yeah,
dude, that show was wild, man. Wait, had you heard of Calm Grove before?
No,
dude, those guys are so good.
Yeah,
we were on tour with them and our friends Troubled Minds. And so Calm Grove's from Southern California, and so we met up with them down there and did some dates out in California, and then we came up through the Southwest, and then kind of, the last date was that show in Denver you were at. That show was crazy, dude.
Yeah.
I want to hear about it.
Yeah. Well, it was just it was a good show, dude. It rocked. And
rocking.
It was
good vibe.
Oh yeah, great vibes, dude. And so, but I was like, it's like, yeah, but can't really see that many other people in the group. So
no, yeah, and I usually wear glasses, like in my normal life, but like when we're playing, I don't wear glasses because like I'll lose them, and so like I can't really see that well whenever we're playing shows, and so like that's
interesting.
Yeah, and it's turned into like kind of I almost think it's like a defense mechanism. Like
I was going to ask.
It's
I was going to say. It almost seems like it would be easier.
Yeah, it's like, if the crowd can't see me, I can't see them. Like like deer in the headlights kind of thing, or like the animal instinct. But like usually I'll look out in the crowd. I'm like kind of squinting a bit. I'm like, I think I see my homie back there. Like, maybe.
That's dope. That's dope. How long of sets do you guys usually play at those kind of shows? How much time do they give you?
Well, that one was interesting because that was a show at Lost Lake, and so like we don't headline very much. But like, you know, we're like a DIY punk rock band. So for us, a set is 30 minutes. And then we're really stoked when we get asked to play like a 20-minute set because we're like, all right, even shorter. This is great. It was funny. Last year we had a show. We had a show in Denver. We were playing at Meow Wolf, which is super dope.
Interesting.
Yeah, like they've got a venue in there. I didn't know that. Like
I didn't either.
Yeah, I just got the email and I'm like, there's a venue in there? Like, okay. And they asked us to play a 45-minute set. And like, we put our heads together and we're like, 45 minutes, man. Like, I don't know if we got that much. So we ended up like putting together, we had like some like audio clips we played like with our set. Like, you know, so like for the last like 2 years, we've done some different like intros into the set. So we would have like the accompanying audio clip with the song that we just used, you know, like we have like a School of Rock intro that we've used before. We have like an intro where we've taken like a voice clip from the movie Whiplash. And then we've got like an intro that has like the, you know, like, have you ever had a dream that's
so dope.
Yeah, dude. So we just put all of those in the set to like stretch it to 45 minutes.
That's hilarious. We used to, in a reggae band I was in, we used to always come out with the every day I'm hustling.
Oh, I love that.
And we'd come out and then like the fog or whatever.
Oh yeah. Well, and that's like, it's so funny because like, I love that. You know, like having like a song playing, especially that's not your genre.
Yeah.
Like I've got these friends in this band called House Parties, and they actually played Meow Wolf last month, and I went and saw them, and like they are, you know, like they're a punk emo band, you know, guitar music, and they started with Soulja Boy. Like that was like their walkout song. It was so cool. I was like, this is dope. So I love that. And like we started doing that, not from the get-go, but like pretty soon, like when we started the band, just because like I kind of had this thing where I was like, dude, like I feel like it makes your set memorable, right? Like, yeah, we have this this School of Rock intro where it's Jack Black doing, you know, like the well, you're not hardcore, no, you're not hardcore, and like we Diego put that together with like with some like electronic elements. We use that as an intro for a minute, and then, you know, people come up to us and be like, oh yeah, you're that band that has like, you have the School of Rock intros. So I'm like, I think it like dope. Makes it memorable, you know?
Yeah. It stands out.
Yeah,
that's really interesting. See, I was always, for the most part, I played in a couple of bands, but I was mostly solo. So I had the opposite experience. It would be like 3.5 hour shows. I've played 4.5 hour shows before, but I get breaks. I take breaks throughout, and it's just me, so it's like, and I've written a million songs, so I play mostly that, and then but over the years, I mean, you have to mix in covers. Nobody has 4.5 hours worth of music unless you're the Beatles or something.
That is, dude, that 4.5
but I know that's
hours?
I know that terrifying feeling when you're ahead of schedule and you're like, oh no, what am I gonna do? But that's why I love the loop pedal now. It's like, we'll just jam for a little while.
Well, and like, we started playing with like we have like an IEM rig, like in-ear monitors, and so like we have like the click in it and everything, which is, you know, it's a really new thing for us. And I know one of the ideas that got thrown out at some point was like, well, what if we just drag all the songs down by like 5 or 10 beats per minute, like, you know, like pad the set, like that adds a good 2-3 minutes into it or something.
That is hilarious. When you guys started working with a metronome, how long had you been playing together before that?
Definitely, it was a year and a half, about 2 years. I think the first show we did with it was, it probably was that Meow Wolf show we did last fall.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, it was the first time that we'd done it. And I had been doing in-ear monitors prior to that. Like I just have like a...
That's an adjustment too, huh?
I mean, it depends. Like I didn't know anything about it. Like, but I found this product. It's called like an X Live or an X Vive or something. And it's like it's a single channel in your monitor that you just put in to like you give it to your front of house engineer, and you're like, yo, like, can you plug what would be in my monitor mix into this? And then they just send it to like a wireless pack, and that's dope. But like only I was doing it because I was like, well, I just can't hear myself on stage.
Oh, that's the struggle with with a loud rock band like that.
Yeah, and so like then we started trying to, like, with all of us, like, but I think on Meow Wolf show it was just me and Diego doing it, and then after that, we kind of all nailed it, and we were like, okay, like, let's kind of go down the rabbit hole with this. Because, I mean, what everyone's doing these days.
Well, I'm curious to know what your experience was. Like when you guys first started jamming with the metronome, how did it go like day one?
Oh, it went great. I mean, like that was really easy because I mean Diego's such a good drummer, and for everyone listening, like I might reference like Diego. Like Diego is the drummer in Relate. He also does all of our production, and like he's one of the songwriters in the band. Like
future Mike and Tony guest.
Yeah, future Mike and Tony guest. And he does like all of our engineering for live show and in the studio. But
that takes so much skill,
dude. Like next level. But I mean, like it was fine from the get go playing with the click because he's just so used to it. So it was like, there was no real acclimation there except that we were on a grid. And so it's like, okay, like we're not all like, speeding up or slowing down by a fraction of, like a beat or something every so often. Like now we have something to be accountable to.
Yeah. And anytime anything slips, you can get right back on. And like,
we haven't really had it where like, we haven't had any like really issues with that.
Well, so the only reason I talk about this for listeners, for musicians, a lot of times when you first work with a metronome, it's a very steady beat. And so for me, I was always a solo singer-songwriter. And so the first time I booked studio time, went in young, inexperienced, didn't know anything, and then they put the click track on, and I realized that I always thought of myself as having really good rhythm, but I was not consistent. I couldn't, and I didn't even know the BPMs of my own songs, and it was a nightmare experience. It was a wasted day in the studio. It wasted as far as I didn't walk away with anything good recorded,
right?
But it was a giant learning experience where it was like, and then from that day on, I just started practicing with metronome all the time.
Oh yeah.
But for me, it was a steep learning curve, dude. I really struggled with it, especially because I play and sing at the same time.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I don't realize that when I'm vocally, emotionally somewhere, the rhythm will kind of follow it because I'm by myself.
Right.
So I can speed up, slow down, whatever. It's not consistent.
Oh, I'm that same way, dude. Like, yeah. And I think that you can probably talk to most musicians and say like, how was the first time you had to work with a metronome? And it's like, oh my God, that was a
little rough.
A little bit rough. Like, dude, I didn't know any music knowledge like growing up. Like I didn't really have like any kind of musical education. I didn't even know there was like 4 beats in a measure until like I was like 16 or something. Like and I started playing guitar when I was like 10. So like that shit was always super rough for me, and like it continues to be rough like to this day if I'm alone. Like I have to follow my own metronome. I'm like, my own metronome's not good. Like, dude, like if Elon Musk made like a microchip that was a metronome and put it in my brain, I'm all my money, dude. I'm in.
Take all my money and stick something in my brain.
You're starting to walk consistent now. You're walking everywhere. Like
everything's in rhythm.
Everything you do is in rhythm. You're typing out work. You're like,
yeah. Yeah, rhythm really is everywhere. What did I just see somewhere about mathematics? About mathematics having some kind of like a spiritual element. I shouldn't have even brought it up. I'm in no position to even really go into details on it. It just made me think of it because they were talking about music too, and it was connected to music and rhythm and stuff. So it was pretty fast.
It's like one of those Tony Dollar moments. I read an article.
Yeah. Hey, when did that become the Tony Dollar moment? That's the Mark the Couch guy.
Yeah. Well, I read an article and it was just a headline.
That's like the music at 432 hertz thing. Like, have you guys heard about that?
That sounds familiar.
Well, so like in music, like the defined value of your A note is A equals 440 hertz. Like that's what frequency the sine wave for A is at. And there's this whole thing that started happening. I can't say when it was, but I want to say it was maybe 10 years ago that dudes started saying, well, if we change the value of A from 440 to 432, and then you just follow the musical scale like that, that's like the perfect frequency that like all of life is harmoniously synchronized at. Like it's some like, dude, it's like some really kind of heady stuff. But that's like a huge thing. Like if you go on YouTube, you like just Google like 432 hertz. Like it's a whole thing, man.
They've had like, there's also like videos too, like sleep videos, and like their lower hertz and everything that get you to calm down and stuff like that. And like, it's like, I forget what they are, but yeah. It's like a big old thing now.
Moreover, studies have shown that listening to 432 hertz music can help to stimulate the brain's alpha waves, which are associated with a state of wakeful relaxation. This can lead to increased mental clarity and focus, making it easier to stay on task and be productive throughout the day. Whoa.
Yeah, so like it's this whole thing where, you know, if you pull up like a tuner, right, your tuner will say A equals 440, but you can change that value. And so like, and I know this because I played in a band once that decided to do our album at.
So curious, how was it?
Oh, it was awful, dude, because like every time I wanted to go practice the songs, I had to tune my guitar just a little bit flat, you know? But like, I mean, there was no actual like difference. But it's a whole, it's this huge, like, you know, it's like a folklore kind of thing that if you play with your music, that A432, like you're in.
I wonder how many, what is it? Hertz, I guess.
Yeah.
So how many hertz, I wonder, is like a half a note or a full step?
Oh, well, there's.
Because I would think the instruments would sound slightly different, maybe not perceivable.
Well, I can't remember like that value, but I mean like
there is
like a mathematical value for all of this stuff. It's not, it's definitely not like 8 hertz. Like that's definitely not like a half step, but I want to say, I want to say it doubles. So it's like if you have your A at 440, and I think that's supposed to equal A1 or A0. Then A2 is at 880, like it like doubles or something, like per octave.
Yeah, so it's barely flat.
Yeah, it's like barely flat, like is like kind of the thing.
1 hertz is 1 vibration per second.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that stuff is so fascinating.
Yeah.
Keys are fascinating, like when notes sound great and when 2 notes together just sound weird, or sometimes you like that weird sound, you know?
Dude.
So many possibilities.
Well, and that's another thing. I think it's called like binaural
beats.
Binaural beats. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Low frequencies like 4 hertz. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this one right
I
here.
didn't know anything about the hertz part.
So the best frequencies for sleep is in the low to mid range. So they're saying the best de-stressing music is the 432 and 528.
Interesting. Okay.
And they said that it has the de-stressing effect on the brain, and it also helps reduce your cortisol levels and raises your oxycontin.
Wow, I wonder where that comes from.
Or your oxytocin.
Oxytocin. And then binaural beats, they produce at very low frequencies, like 4 hertz. Yeah, they also help with sleep.
Yeah, this first thing that came up in the search was a YouTube video. It was the deepest healing sleep, and it's 3.2.
And it's like an hour long, right? Something like that.
This one's 5 hours.
And how many views does it have? Just
probably millions.
Let's see, it might play. Sorry, oh good. And it's playing the commercial.
People are sleeping now.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna mess around with it. I should have logged in with my work one, because then it doesn't give me any advertisements on YouTube. Because they're constantly sending you shit everywhere. Everything you're on, they're constantly sending stuff. Have you ever try stuff like that? Do you try sleeping with the binaural beats or meditation with it? Do you meditate?
I do yoga, but
that's meditation.
I do like hot yoga. Like I do core power yoga, you know, so it's like,
okay.
Like I always say that like, it's not really yoga for me unless like there's someone that is yelling at me like to do better and do faster in like a room that's very humid and very hot. Like I'm like, like this is what I need. I know a lot of people are like, oh, that's not yoga. It's too high intensity. I'm like, no, man, that's what I need to get like my zen.
Yeah. Heck yeah, bro. No, I understand that. I understand that because me and Mike talk about working out and stuff a lot. If I don't get it out, I'm just one of those people, like I have to get it out or else it builds up, you know, and your energy gets bad and all that stuff. It's funny how your outlook on life changes when you don't get that kind of stuff in.
Oh, totally.
Some sweating and some.
That's so funny because my regular yoga is like me sweating like crazy. Because I remember one time going to a yoga class and it was like the warm up, right? And I'm just sitting there, I'm like, oh my God, because I'm not flexible at all. I'm just a big dude, likes to lift heavy weights, right? And I'm doing the warm up with them. And I'm like looking over at people and I'm like, I am sweating bullets. And I'm only like 10 minutes in. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, why is nobody else sweating in here? And they're all laughing at me. And the instructor, she's like, a lot of big guys just struggle with this.
Yeah.
I'm just like dying, dude. Like, I'm just like, oh my God, how much more do we have of this? She's like, it's like a 45-minute class.
People underestimate the intensity of yoga. Even if you're not doing it. I took it in college one time as like an easy credit. I was young and in great shape and everything. And I just remember how it was such a bad struggle. I just remembered like shaking, like my whole body shaking. And meanwhile, the teacher, she's just like talking calmly through it. And then we breathe in. And I'm just like, Come on. Looking at the
Yeah,
time, like,
dude.
I can't hold this anymore.
It's like planking in all these different,
Yeah.
variations for an hour.
For sure.
And it's like, what? Like it's already hard enough to plank for like 45 seconds. Like,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
now you're telling me to like basically like plank on like one leg with my body sideways, like, like hold that like isometric pose. You're like, what, man? Like this is hard.
Yeah, for sure. Is that your main form of exercise? Do you any other things? Do you like any other things? Do you bike ride, hike, run?
I mean, I bike and I used to run. I used to distance run, but like it kind of started getting to me. Like I've got like a knee that is just not as good as the other one.
Yeah.
Like most people do.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
But like
oh yes.
that I remember in my early 20s, like just like being like having like a moment where I'm like, dude, like why am I wearing a knee brace? Like I'm 22 years old. Why am I wearing a knee brace?
Yeah.
And and I struggled with that and like a lower back issue for a really long time until I was like 25 and I started doing yoga. And like
And that helped the back.
all of it.
All
gone.
of it. Knees
Yeah.
too.
Yep. Gone.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's something to be said for that
Flexibility
stuff.
and stretching, yeah, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude. As we're getting older, we have to really be looking, even if it's not yoga, mobility in general.
Ain't nobody
'Cause-
trying to watch Mike and Tony do yoga.
No, we're not doing it on this show.
Well, hey, I don't. You shouldn't rule anything out, man. Like
Or views for the views. For
This
the views,
week
dollar.
on the Mike and Tony show,
Yeah.
we're doing yoga.
we you know what? That is interesting. I wanted to see if anybody will do that. Like come do a class and we'll like mic up. We'll get some like
If there's a listener who wants to do it and does yoga, I'm down. We'll do it.
they'll
Do
mic,
anything
just
once.
mic us up. We'll do the video and we'll try to
Yeah.
see if we can do a whole show.
Let's go. I'm down if you're down, Pierce. I'm not down for CrossFit though.
Yeah, well, you know me. I'm always down for a challenge.
I know. How's the CrossFit going?
I
Because
mean,
you're still doing it. You're still trying to, get better.
well, yeah.
You're still going
trying
once
to
a
get
week,
better.
right?
Yeah, well, it's the barbell class. It's not really the CrossFit class. That's the one I do the Olympic weightlifting.
So this whole time you're not doing the crazy stuff where like that gets as intense as that yoga, or it is.
No, it's just heavy lifting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, same
And
old, same
functional
old
movement
then.
and stuff like
Yeah. Okay. So you
Yeah.
go to the CrossFit gym and that's your jam over there.
Well, it's funny because I didn't go this week because
lost you,
Callie
Pierce.
because I was with Callie this whole week, but I didn't go, and so my friend Sarah that I go with, she told the instructor that last week when I did an actual CrossFit workout, she said that he scared me away, and I was like, "Don't you be telling lies." Don't tell lies over there. I was like,
He's smart though. He's
I
trying
had
to get you
Callie.
back in there.
I was like, I had Callie. I couldn't go to that Wednesday class. Come on, man.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
No, not me, bro. I'm not into the. I do need some more cardio in my life, admittedly, but I'm not the CrossFit thing. It's so intense, man. You were telling me about the first time you did the overhead squats a couple weeks ago.
I can't do them. I still can't
Yeah.
do them. So
Oh.
Oh, an overhead squat.
yeah,
So-
What?
it's like, yeah, it's ridiculous, dude. It's dumb. Like I can squat
Yeah.
315 pounds. I can do it for reps and stuff like that. But when it comes to having it over your head and squatting down, my brain doesn't comprehend the two
I think
together.
it's probably pretty good for you, but like,
well, like
it's on the pacing.
Like
to me.
Gobbs was saying, it's a flex because there's ladies out there they can do like 225 pounds and they're just and
Yeah,
I'm
you
just
said
like,
you were watching him do it while you were struggling with.
and I'm like,
PVC.
yeah, and I have a PVC pipe and I can't even do it with a PVC pipe. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah,
But that's what he said. It's a flex when you go into a gym. You can do an overhead squat.
there is something to be said for changing up what you do,
Oh,
like
yeah.
trying new stuff. Because I think that's what the body responds to more than anything else.
Yeah.
Which is funny because we all get sold on whatever our latest thing is. We're like, oh, dude, this is the thing. It changed so much. But after you go on enough time, then you try something else, you're going to get similar results and strength. And
Well, I think a lot of it's
Flexibility.
like it's the way the body like comes to understand how to put muscle groups together and work. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, makes sense. Which is just like everything else, kind of part of our.
Well, yeah, that's yoga. It's all cohesive
Yeah.
movements and
Yeah.
functional stuff.
What's the toughest position, or like, do you have one of those moments where like this is definitely the worst?
I mean, there's definitely there's poses I can't do, and
Oh,
and I
sure.
can remember like starting to practice yoga. That's what they call it. They call it a practice.
Yeah, sure.
But I remember when I first started doing it, like you're really trying to do everything correct because that's how it is like lifting too, right? Like
Yeah,
you're trying to
sure.
have the
Yep.
right form.
Mhm.
And eventually, I came to find I'm like, oh, there's actually stuff that like I'm going to do different than like the instructor says like how to do it because my body's different.
You have to adapt it.
Yeah. And then there's also poses that like for some people, it might not be a hard pose, but like for me, I'm like, I can't do that. And like, and then, you know, like I also found the line with like, what poses can I comfortably like start to work towards or work into? And then like, what's not accessible for me and like, won't ever be, you know, like, and that's,
You just have to live with it.
yeah. And you're just kind of okay with it. Like, you're just like, that doesn't serve me. And like, that's totally fine. And that's, I mean, like yoga instructors kind of say that all the time. Like they're like, you know, there's a big usage of words and phrases around, you know, like the concept of this might not be it for you. And that's okay.
Yeah.
Don't try to make it be it for you. Like, you don't want to hurt yourself.
No.
Yeah, don't force anything.
Yeah. And like for me, like a lot of the stuff that's like really hard is like there's this pose called like the half moon. I don't think that that's like the actual like Buddhist name for it. Like there's like 2 different names for all the yoga poses, right?
Yeah.
Like there's like the
Original name.
there's the original name, which is, you know, like I can't pronounce any of them.
Yeah.
And then there's like, you know, like sunflower.
Yeah.
Or like, you know, warrior 2.
The pretty name of
Warrior
Yeah,
2.
you know.
I like the ones with numbers.
Yeah. But like there's one where you get on your side and like the whole concept of it is you're supposed to have like if you have your foot facing forward and then you're up and like your other leg is like making a 90-degree angle from your foot and like your whole body is just like one plane.
Wow.
I can't do that, dude. I cannot do that. You know,
Yeah.
like balancing on one leg, like out, like, you know, like body, everything stacked over this one leg for balance. Like, no, that's not happening for me.
No.
Yeah.
I'm asking a coworker to tell me the name of a book that she's been reading, and she had all of us do it. It was like basic tests, like as you get older, things that'll predict your mobility level.
Yeah.
So one was like sitting all the way on the ground and then standing up without using your hands, just like getting off the ground and standing completely up. That was one of them. I was trying to remember. She was saying there's a whole bunch, but they're basically tests to know, like, if you can't, work on it, because the big thing is like when you get older, right? Like if you fall, that's a big thing. You fall and then you cannot manage to get yourself up. But if you can get up without your arms, you're in pretty good shape. You still be able to do that. So yeah.
Did it say anything about making noises as you were getting up?
Yeah, I definitely made some noises getting up. 100%. Yeah. Yeah, but I was surprised at how many people even younger than me that couldn't do it, that couldn't stand up without using their hands or whatever. Yeah.
Well, you know what they say, like the ultimate test of strength is if you can do a pistol squat.
What's a pistol squat?
So the pistol squat is like your leg is straight out, and then you're holding your hand like this, and you squat down on one leg, and you can be able to get back up. But you have to make it parallel. And get back up.
That was the other one that the book advises that when you put your shoes on to stand on one foot and just put it on.
Yeah.
It helps your balance and
Okay.
Yeah.
I do that every day.
I'll report back some more. I'm gonna look into these. I'm getting old, bro. I want to make sure that.
Well, and this week of finding out how old Tony is.
Yeah, I do worry though, because you don't do much mobility either, right?
What's that?
Yeah. What's worse for you, cardio or mobility?
Probably mobility.
You're like,
I'm not a very flexible person, bro.
Yeah, it's important. We got to get on it. I'm not either. But I think it makes a big difference. This guy's going to live to 184.
God, I hope not, dude. That is too long.
Yeah, that would be crazy.
Rocking out.
Might be coming though with all the stuff, you know.
See, well, it's like I think there's like this different kind of perspective on life where it's like I'm not about like living a long time, but you want the time you're here to be spent
quality,
well.
Quality over
quality.
Yeah.
Only way to do that is by taking care of your body.
For sure.
Absolutely.
1,000%.
Yeah.
Because time is a motherfucker, and it gets you no matter what. It gets everybody.
It's the common denominator in all our lives.
Yeah.
I know, huh?
And taxes. Time and taxes.
Time and tax, yes.
Yeah, such a weird thing. Time is a weird
taxes,
thing in general.
I mean, if you haven't done your taxes,
You're in trouble.
You're late. You're
in
11
trouble.
days late, people. So.
11 days exactly. Look at you.
I totally did my taxes already.
Yeah.
Yeah, officially on the podcast. All taxes and from everybody in the room have been done.
We're good.
We're good.
Check.
We're legit.
Check.
So the IRS, you can stop listening.
Yeah.
I'm curious about you've been playing for a long time. You guys can be playing music all the time out there, doing live shows, touring, whatnot.
Yeah.
I would love to hear some of the like highlights, recent, maybe just stuff that stands out in your mind over the years of playing in front of crowds. Because it's probably just pretty typical for you, but for the average person, it's not. People don't get in front of crowds and jam out and sing crazy loud lyrics. And
yeah, I mean, it's a weird experience, man. Because like, I mean, this is easily the most successful band I've ever been in, which like blows my mind. But I've been doing this since I was like 16. And with that has come a lot of playing to no one, like, or playing to like,
Yep.
I remember one time I was in this band that booked a gig and we forgot about it. And then it like was a snowstorm, but then we're like, okay, we're going to play the gig. And it was with a touring band and, literally no one came. Like they set up, that band set up and played and we were there, like our band was there watching them. And then we were going to play after them. And we just all looked at each other. We're like, we're just not going to play, dude. Like, let's all go home.
Damn.
But like now, like it's crazy to,
Do you get paid in that case for coming all the way down, setting up, doing all that stuff?
I mean, it depends. Like, no or yes. It depends on like how the show is set up. Like I'd say like the main thing behind what our band does now and more like behind the community that we're part of, and that being like the DIY touring community, is that you always pay the touring bands like more than your band makes if you make anything. So like it's a really typical thing to like if you are in a band and you go play a show out of town and it's the show that like you booked yourself, like you might play a weird spot like I mean we've played this sake bar in Denver, or like there's a cool thrift store in California that we've played. So you might play some unconventional venues, and usually the local bands will forfeit some if not all of their cut of like the door to the touring band, that so that they can continue to be on the road. Like it's one of those like unspoken rules that you do.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and so it's like the like a big thing with Relate has been like getting bands to come up to Denver, and that's like what'll typically happen. Like in those scenarios is like we will either pay them like all of the money from the door, or like if the show did really well, like they'll take like a bigger cut than we would because they're on the road. Like, the whole thought process is like, we get to go home and sleep in our beds. Right. You don't. So like,
I see.
So if you guys got to get a hotel, like you got like whatever, you're far from home. Like,
well, I'm sure that what goes around comes around too. Cause then when you're in their town.
Oh yeah. And this is the weirdest concept because like it's such an unspoken thing, but it is permeated like the whole entire community across the US.
I love that, dude.
Yeah. I mean, it is so typical. You'll meet a band like that you've never met them before. Like you might meet them at the gig that you just so happen to like be booked on at the same time through some DIY touring, connection. And they will still know like these kind of same like golden rules and like just treat you that way. So
that is amazing.
It's crazy. Yeah.
That gives me hope for humanity.
Oh, absolutely, dude. It's the coolest thing.
Yeah. Cause that's what the power is, right? It's in numbers and community and like everybody working together, helping each other, that kind of stuff. Man, that is damn cool to hear. I never toured at all. I never like went around and did shows out of town. It was always just local things for me and stuff. But that experience, is it grueling? What's the longest tour you've done?
We've only done like, I think we keep doing like the same week and a half, 2 weeks for like the last year. We've been doing that. It's like at a time. So like, I think 2 weeks max is like the longest we've been out. We want to go out for longer, but it's like figuring out the logistics behind that is hard.
There's a lot to it.
Yeah. Cause it's like, then you start to have to like think like, okay, like we all have jobs. Like, how do we get that time off? And then, like, how am I going to pay my rent? Like, like all that kind of stuff. But yeah, man, I mean, it's like most of the highlights are like kind of, I don't know, like stuff like that. Or like this last tour, we ran into a van issue. It was actually super funny. I mean,
he talked about
that was on the podcast actually.
Oh, it was?
Yeah, I think it was the one that you bought and you were hoping it was gonna go.
Oh no, we ran into a van issue this time.
Oh, another van issue.
This is probably a common band thing.
Okay, so see, here's the saga, and I was texting our guitarist Zach earlier, and he told me to make sure I told you guys that I own a completely average number of vans. That being one, I own one van.
Okay.
Now, but like it's like every time we go to California, something happens to the van, and we got to spend like a day getting it fixed. It's like, the first time we went out there, like the van's rotors were just completely destroyed, and so it was like shaking the whole way. We had to drive in like second gear down every incline, and it was super scary. When we went out last summer, it was me, Tom, and Zach and Colin. We were driving out there, and Diego was flying to LA to meet us. And it's like 9 p.m. at night. We're almost to Grand Junction, and Tom is driving the van, and he hits a tire. Like there's just a tire in the middle of the road, just bam.
Damn.
And this is a new van, so we got a new van like after the first tour, because like first tour we did in a 2001 E150 that like is a great van, but it's just kind of old and kind of loud. And so we're like, okay, let's get something like a little newer. So we got like a van that's only 10 years old. It kind of feels like a rocket ship when you're driving it, because like it's got like a computer in it and stuff. Like, it's really nice. So like we hit this tire, and then like we're all like, oh damn, dude, like what was that? And Tom's like, sorry, I hit a tire. Like there's someone pulled over on the side of the road. They lost their tire, and we're all kind of like startled. We're like, okay, whatever. And then 10 miles later, like the check engine light comes on. And we're just God. We're like, and like, so we get to Grand Junction, like we're maybe like 20 miles out. We drive into Grand Junction, and like, I just want to like really, really say like, we are band dudes, right? We do not really know anything about cars except that a light's on. And so this is bad.
Right.
Yeah, dude. And so we get to Grand Junction, and we're like, okay, well, let's go to the AutoZone, see if they scan the engine. They like scan the engine. They're like, yeah, I don't know, you got a coil misfire or like something.
Coil misfire.
And so, yeah.
Mike, let's check that out with the resident mechanic in the house. Is that a thing?
Spark plug.
Okay.
It's spark plug issue. And so like, we're like, well, do you think we can make it to LA? And he's like, maybe. Like, honestly, dude, I loved this AutoZone guy. Like, he's like a master mechanic. Like, he's some old dude. Like, he's got like a pack of Marlboro Reds in his pocket. And he just looks at us dead in the eye, and he's like, honestly, boys, throw some 91 in it and just roar and burn off the shit on the plugs and see if you make it. We're like, oh, we don't know about that, man. And so
you're like, 91 is expensive, bro.
Yeah, we're like, 91's expensive. Like, and so we stay in Grand Junction that night, and it's like a Sunday or something. It's like a holiday Sunday too, so it's like there's no mechanics we can go to.
No.
So we do what any person would do that morning when we wake up. Instead of trying to find like a mechanic, we just go to the AutoZone again, and we buy our own scan tool, and we turn the code off and just hope it doesn't come back on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Of course, it came back on. We ended up getting to California, and like they were like, "Yeah, you guys just need spark plugs." It was just,
we made it to California, but we had to live there for 3 months.
So anyway, like this time going out there, we get in the van, and like it was when there was that big snowstorm last month.
Yep.
Like, so I mean, this was like the most stressful thing ever, because like me, Tom, and Zach are driving out there with our tour manager Joe, and like Colin and Diego are gonna fly there and meet us, and so like the snow comes in, and like me and Tom and Zach leave, and it's like we leave at like 11 in the morning, like, and it's raining in Denver, but we know it's like on the map, the weather map, like it showed like the whole I-25 corridor. It's like
snow.
Yeah, it was just like the worst snow possible. And so like instead of going west, we drove south. Like we basically drove to Mexico and then drove to California from there. But we get there perfectly fine. It took us like 24 hours, like, and then we go the next day and pick up Colin and Diego at the airport. Or no, I think we were there for a whole day, and then we picked them up. And we all get in the van, and then we drive to the first gig. And so like we roll up to the venue. We're playing in Anaheim at the House of Blues, and like we roll up, and the van turns off.
Oh God.
Like in front of the venue. And like it just gives us green wrench. And this is kind of like that's the symbol that it gives us on the computer. Green wrench. I've never seen green wrench before, right? Like, cause this is a new van. And so like new van has like computer and stuff.
Green seems good though.
Yeah, green seems good. But like, see, and this is where I start to realize, I'm like, well, old van, like it was kind of cool, man. Like it only had one light. It had the check engine light. It says service engine. Like this van, like, it's got all these lights. And so like, I'm like on Google, like we're trying to load into the gig, and like it says green wrench sign, powertrain failure. And I'm like, well, that's not good.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's the powertrain. I'm pretty sure we need that part. And so then like, we get it towed to like a mechanic, and we get a rental, and there's like some convention in town in Anaheim. And so like the only rental we can get is a Ford Expedition. And it's like, it's like
big ass. Yeah.
Like, and there's 6 of us. We have all our gear.
Ooh.
Somehow we get it all packed in this
Holy
Expedition.
shit.
And we were able to get to the gigs in California and do them, and then pick up the van after them and go to Arizona. But like, dude, this Expedition was really nice, actually, man. Like it was like 2024. Like,
oh dang,
it like we were all kind of
dope.
Like, shit. But like we get the van fixed, and it turns out like it was like the fuel pump pressure regulator. Like some part that sends fuel to the engine just like broke. But like we're all just kind of like, fuck, like we have no money. Like we were in California, like, you know, like tour just started.
I was joking when I said they lived there for 3 months.
I would love that. But it was really cool because like that happened and we're all just kind of like, how are we going to take care of this?
Yeah.
And so like I posted on the internet and I was like, yo, like van broke down. If you guys want to buy some merch or like Venmo us, like, yeah, that would be cool.
Now's the time.
Now's the time. And dude, like the internet
came through.
Yeah.
Came through
so hard. Like, and we were just like, we were just blown away. Like, I mean, and it was crazy. Like the mix of like people that we know, like that are, you know, friends of ours. And then like some of the venues we played at, like, and then complete random strangers just like sending us money. And we were able to get the van fixed. We were able to cover the rental and like finish the tour.
That's dope.
Incredible.
And like that was definitely like one of the coolest things like ever. Like just to see like the amount of support that like people gave us.
Well, I was about to tell you, like I was looking this week and I was looking at your Spotify monthly listeners. It is easily doubled from the last time you were on here.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's like five times or something. I don't know.
It's ridiculous. It's like 35,000 now.
Well, cause like last time we were on, like, I think I came on last spring or was it last fall? I think it was last spring.
I don't remember.
Yeah, it was like last spring.
Yeah. And
it
so,
was May. It was in May.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So we had put out the record and like, it was, you know, we're nobody. So we like just put music on the internet and then like I made a couple TikToks and like a couple of them like did okay and people found us and were like into it.
I remember you talking about the TikTok last time too.
And so like this time, like we put out like a couple new songs and we were like, okay, like how do we like, you know, get people to hear this?
Yeah.
So we're like, okay, we'll go on Instagram. We'll do Instagram Reels, not TikToks.
Yeah.
I mean, like we did both, but TikTok's kind of not the same platform it used to be.
Yeah.
And so like we started posting some Instagram Reels and like I think I just started posting like one every day for like a week. And like it was like the first one, like it showed our followers and like people are like, oh, like how cool, another video of you guys like on
Rocking
playing
out,
music, right on. And the second one, like same thing. But then like we posted like a couple more and like Instagram really likes it when you post stuff consistently.
Yeah.
And like
they have challenges for you on the thing to post the story and all that stuff. And
yeah, and like I don't know, dude. It was just basically like all the metrics went from like here to like, I mean, like it was
almost straight up.
It was almost straight up. Yeah. Like it was basically like overnight, like every metric we had, like times 100.
See, I wonder too what that is. Is it a critical mass of things building up, or is there something you don't know about? You know, I wonder about that. Remember that?
No, it's the consistency. It's the consistency of the posting, like and
no, but
the timing and stuff.
I was going to give the example of this video I recorded years ago. It was actually Dancing in Sunshine, an old shitty version of it. I don't even know what I recorded on. It sounded like garbage. I did a weird video of my feet just in blue shoes, just
well,
walking.
that's what it was. It was the feet.
Oh yeah, the foot fetish people.
Feet Finder, feetfinder.com.
No, and then I did. You know, I never look at, and my videos don't get any hits at all. And then, I mean, that's the only one that's had multiple thousands of views. And it's and when I look at demographics, it was, what was it? Brazil? I think it's Brazil. It's a South American country. Is where like 90% of the listens. And I just wonder. I was like, what was that like?
Yeah,
you don't know. Like somebody just told somebody else, and
I mean, a lot of it is.
Because yours was like that with just everything, right? All of a sudden, it just really took off.
Kind of, but I mean, like it was very calculated,
and then it hit that critical mass.
Yeah,
it was like,
yeah. Like I mean, like I've gotten pretty in depth with like the how to do SEO on social media and like hashtags, and then how to keep your videos like have them like hooked.
Hashtags.
Like everything we put out has hashtags, both on our posts and on our website.
No, I was saying because before you were like, I don't like to put them in the out because it seems like it's desperate.
Did I say that one?
Yeah.
Once upon a time, I could have seen myself saying that. Yeah, because I used to be the guy that was like, every possible hashtag. Is that a good thing? I don't know.
No, you just want to do a couple.
Yeah,
because the hashtag is like how
See?
it's how the algorithm like categorizes it, and like that's how it'll tell what it is, and then. It shows like your video to a couple of your followers, and then depending on how they interact with it, it shows it to more people.
Yeah.
It's
interesting.
Dude, the way all this stuff works is absolutely crazy. There's like this crazy movie about it. It came out in like 2020, but I can't remember what it's called, but it basically like goes on to kind of talk about how much money Instagram has put into tracking your metrics. And like the metrics aren't just, did you like something? Like, it's like, how long did you
watch it? Yeah.
How fast did you
Very
scroll away?
detailed.
Like, I mean, it's you can't even like understand some of the metrics that they're tracking and how that will play into what goes viral and what doesn't.
You know who's gotten deep onto that lately is Dan.
Really?
Yeah, because he does a lot of his CU football stuff.
Yeah.
And so he's been like tracking that. And so like when we were at the Offset concert at the Fillmore, he was like, yeah, he's like, if you have a certain amount of followers and a certain amount of likes, he's like, Instagram will pay you and monetize you for however many people watch your videos and this and that and da. And I was like, all right, Dan, like, do what you got to do. And he was looking at me. He's like, you really should be doing this too. He goes, you should be doing this too. He goes, you got more followers than I do. He's like, yeah, like 5,500 followers. Why don't you just do this stuff too? And I was like, he's like, where do your followers come from? I was like, my followers, I don't know, just the podcast and workout
Just
stuff
random,
and just random things and shit I bullshit around with, making reels.
Yeah.
But it's like he's saying, it's the consistency. Instagram has things on their tags, badges, and stuff that they try to get you to make more content.
Yeah, I was curious about what you said about like the incentive thing. I've never seen anything like that on mine.
Yeah. So, if you look at it, like it'll get you, like you've probably seen it too. It gives you the challenges, the badges, and stuff like that. And then once you hit a certain point, they're way past the point. They have like 20,000 followers. But once you get to a certain point, then you can monetize. You can get gifts from people. So like if you go live, if people start sending you gifts, just like TikTok.
Yeah, I've seen those videos.
If you get gifts and stuff like that, it's like monetization, and they basically giving you gifts, which is like equal to money-ish or whatever. So yeah, you just got to be super consistent.
Do you get money literally?
Yeah.
Through Instagram.
Well, like I've never done it, but I did it on TikTok because I didn't know any of this stuff worked. Like when we first did TikTok though, like I remember like you couldn't go live until you had like 1,000 followers or something. And then
I remember that.
Yeah, and then we got 1,000 followers, and so like one day I like went live and someone started giving me gifts. And I was like, I don't know what this is. So I like Google it, and it's like, I'm like, I think it was a rose is what it's called on TikTok. And I'm like, what's a rose? And like, I'm like I feel like a boomer, like TikTok, what is a rose? And it's like, and a rose is worth like a dime or something.
Yeah.
Like, and so like you can accrue these gifts into your like TikTok gift account, and then you cash them out as cash.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't even know
And so
that's
the
how
same
it
thing.
worked.
So like Instagram kind of does the same thing. If you go live, you can get gifts on there too. Yeah.
We did the show live on Instagram one time.
Yeah.
I don't remember what that.
And it took forever to upload.
It was a pain in the ass, yeah.
It took forever to upload because it was like when Instagram was like first doing the live stuff, and then it would take forever for that. Because you can do the save as whatever.
Yeah.
And it would take forever to save it because it's an hour and a half show. So
yeah, I don't know about like much about the live thing. Like honestly, like now because our Instagram has so many followers, like I'm scared to like post on it. So I like don't really post it. Like,
Does that affect like you think about what you're gonna put?
Yeah,
of
no,
that?
totally. Like now I'm like I don't like I'm like what do I say like or like we posted like a reel that we got like a lot of hate on for like the way we were like miming playing our instruments or something, and I was like, dang, dude, like people really care, I guess. Like, wow.
Fucking so many people.
It's
out
so
there.
crazy. Like, it's like now I'm like, I don't know, like we got a show coming up. Yeah. I'm like,
yeah, but the people criticizing you are these fans?
oh, I don't know. I mean, it's all from like
random.
it's the random algorithmic engagement.
Yeah.
And so like, but it's very cool. Like, cause it's like, I mean, like for someone like when I'm looking at, making content or making reels, like what is my favorite thing is when someone talks shit on you and then you can use that to make content.
Yeah.
Like all of our merch has this little phrase on it that says like in quotations, like a terrible name for a band. And like, that was because like, yeah. See?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Which by the way, I just bought that.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Dang, dude, I got one in the van. I'll just give it to you.
Oh, dang.
But like,
Cancel. No, I'm just joking.
it all
you wanna
says
support
that
them.
like
I always support,
that
yeah.
little phrase, a terrible name for a band, because when we like put out our first single, some dude on Facebook found it, and like we didn't know this dude, but he wrote like a dissertation on why it was such a bad name for a band.
That's dope. I actually really like that. That is funny though.
Yeah, so like I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so like it became part of the lore. Like I think our Spotify or our Instagram or something said like that as our description for like a year, like a terrible name for a band. Like, you know, some dude on the internet said that. Like, so the more we get like stuff like that, I just usually make reply videos.
Dude, and I was going to say, and leaning into it.
Yeah,
too.
It's so funny.
And you can put the reply in the bottom too, and it's like Terminator for bands.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, because people do that all the time with other stuff. Just document people being crazy.
There's one time where I thought like me and Dollar should do this one because like we're not YouTubers. We don't post a lot on YouTube.
We're borderline boomers. Okay?
Yeah, and so we don't put it on YouTube. You know, all of our stuff's on Spotify. Our videos are on Spotify. We upload on Spotify, and then Dollar does stuff and does on Reels and everything like that. But the one time, like Tony put like a video up there of a podcast that we had, and the guy was like, what did he say? Like this is like
that was when we
this
first
like 4
started
years
on
ago.
YouTube. Yeah.
It was like 4 years ago. The guy was like 5 years in and only 30 subscribers. Time to hang up the podcast.
Oh my god!
Yeah, and you click on his profile, right? Because you're just like, who is this guy? It's like nothing.
Yeah,
no
it's
post.
like John Doe 578889999.
Like
Like
mystery person.
yeah, it's the funniest thing. Like the keyboard warriors. I'm like, okay, dude. Like
Never before in time could you talk so much shit.
Yeah.
And not get
Internet
slapped
tough
by
guys.
somebody
Yeah.
that can't control their emotions. You know what I mean? Like that's naturally going to happen back in the day. Like you walk around talking shit to people's face or like saying, "Oh, bro, that's terrible." You're going to run into somebody who's a hothead or doesn't like it or whatever, and just takes a swing at you or whatever. So no, you don't want to get into any of that shit with any of those people. If I were you, I wouldn't even worry because that's a good sign. When you have haters, it means that you've got a lot of people that are following your band. So I wouldn't even read that shit. Don't even worry about it unless you can use it for content.
oh, dude, there's so much good content.
Oh, really?
There's so much like some dude on the internet was like, stop claiming Denver. And like I'm like, what do you mean claiming Denver? Like we're from Denver. I'm like the Capitol building's like you know, like and like we've got like a couple people that have been like, you know, like you guys aren't from Denver. And I'm like
I'm pretty sure.
I'm like
Where am I from then?
I'm like, shit, dude, like I don't know like where am I from? Like how do I tell you this? Like,
But that is good content.
yeah, but it's good content, you know, and so it's like that's the thing. Like it's like leaning into it, figuring out how to lean into it. Like that's kind of cool.
You should make a reel now. I got an idea. When someone says like, "Stop claiming Denver," you know, you're not from Denver, and then you should like make a reel like you're going up to your parents and be like, "Am I not from Denver?" and then they look at you and be like,
How
Duncan,
perfect.
you're adopted.
What? Well, I mean, like I'm actually from Colorado Springs. Like that's where I grew up. So like that could be so funny.
Yeah.
I think
Totally.
I'd have to like explain to my dad like how to use like the camera. I'd be like, all right, man. Like he's like, what is this? Like I just see him now, glasses down. Like, is it going?
The funny thing that you just have to always understand is the people that have time to do that where is their life? Like where are things going for you, buddy?
Dude,
You know
I
what
wish
mean?
I had that kind of time, man. Like
That's what I mean. You
I'm
have time to
envious.
stop on some random thing, you know, and talk shit about, you're not doing it good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then who are you? Oh, you're nobody. Just a picture of some guy sitting in a
I watched.
somewhere.
Oh my gosh! I actually watched a reel. DK Metcalf, he's a football player for Seattle, and some high school kid had said something to him like Jalen Ramsey owns you, and DK Metcalf came out. He goes, "Who are you?" And then everyone was like, "Oh,
Who the fuck is this guy?" Yeah, all over again.
But yeah, dude, like all that stuff has like made it like all of just kind of like the stuff blowing up online it's been really cool. It's been like a crazy experience for us, but you know, it's kind of that thing like when we noticed like before we'd kind of had like a big pop on like the internet like this year, like that when we put out music last fall, like people were listening to it. Like, like you know, like it's really easy to get into this. Like,
two of those
thing.
people are in this room right now.
Hey, but you know, it's like easy to get in this mindset where you're like, it doesn't matter what we do. Like, no one's listening. You know, like the only people that are gonna listen to it are like our friends. Like, and then like you can see now like every metric, and you're like,
yeah, isn't that beautiful? Nowadays you can see everything.
Yeah, and like that's been a wild experience to just understand that like, you know, when your day to day is like slogging and like doing your thing, like. It's easy to get in this this mindset. You're like, no one cares.
Yeah.
But then you come to find out like, oh, like no, like people
do
care.
care.
But it's just not every like you don't see those people like or they're not, you know.
It's kind of weird.
You. Yeah, it's very weird, dude. Like like we had like the biggest releases. I mean, like every time we release music, there's more people listening to it like the first day or the first week, and like that's just blowing our minds.
And what I love so much about our podcast is that we've like had people that have like grown since we've like had them on.
It's so
like,
cool to have people
They
back.
grew
Yeah.
big time. Like when I first met Justin Freeman from Jaywalkers, he was selling his
Shirts out of his car.
his Jaywalkers out of the trunk of his car. Now this upcoming weekend, they're opening up a standalone store.
Dude,
Dude,
and that's not
badass.
even his main thing now, too,
Yeah,
right?
that's
Now
not
he's
his main
tuning
thing.
Mazdas.
Yeah.
Was the last thing.
Yeah, but I'd like to see that growth of the people that we've seen,
know.
and just like, and like you said, you don't know where it comes from, but people care enough to share it with another friend and share it with another friend. It's like,
And there's
oh,
no
you should
doubt
listen to that.
every
Yeah.
guest we have contributes, right?
Yeah. Oh,
Like
yeah.
you have people along the way.
Oh, yeah.
You can always kind of see, when somebody has a little bit of a following.
Well, and
whatever.
I had a friend from high school reach out to me and say, "Oh, I listened to the Mike and Tony show and I heard you on it."
Oh shit!
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
fucking
And I was
sick.
like, "What? That is rad."
Yeah.
It's
Hell
like,
yeah.
all this like kind of like circular sort of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's such a weird time. And even we talk about it a lot too, even how much podcasting has changed since we started. Like when you first started, it was such a pain in the ass with the RSS feed, and you had to go plant it in all these different places. And if you did it wrong, it would just feed back an error, and you're just constantly just dealing with all this crap. And then now it's just so streamlined. You just have an RSS feed, you just put it out into the ether, and it's everywhere. It's just on everything, which is pretty dope.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. Spotify is definitely still the hugest for music, right? Right
yeah.
now.
I mean, that's where
At the
most
time.
people consume music.
Yeah,
like-
and that seemed like that happened fast.
Oh, yeah.
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 Well, like, and I don't know, man. Like, I don't actually like use Spotify. Like, that's
Full confession on the show.
like I have Spotify playlists that like I like make, and like I'll use it for like connecting with people. Like sharing playlists with people.
Yeah.
But like I've started using it a little bit. But if I'm listening to music, I use Apple Music.
Yeah.
It's higher quality. Like, and that's kind of been my gripe with Spotify, is just like the quality's not as good as Apple Music is. But the whole experience of using it is so much next level, like compared to any other music stream platform. I think that's why they've been so successful. Cause like, I mean, like most dudes aren't going to be like, oh, well, the music's not very high quality. Like, and it's not that it's low quality. And honestly, like for me, like it wasn't even ever that like the music wasn't high quality. It was that it was just a little bit more compressed. And so like when I used to run a lot, I would like, it wouldn't be as loud as Apple Music.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, and I know you're not supposed to, but I like turn my volume up all the way.
I know.
for a
We've
run,
talked
you
about
know,
this.
We
like-
talked about this last episode.
And so like when that was the thing, like when Spotify was first kind of popping on the scene, I was already using Apple, like iTunes and everything. I had all the stuff of mine like in the cloud.
Yeah.
All the music, all these bands that don't have releases out on Spotify. And like I just never fully transitioned. It's like still I'm like Apple Music.
Yeah, that's funny. I got pushed out by my family.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because we always have the family deal, and we had Apple forever.
Oh, okay.
I loved Apple. I had all my stuff, everything was set up for me on there. And then I held on for a long time, and I talked her into. We found a deal. We had two going at the same time, and then eventually it was like, no, the kids, everybody was like, no, Spotify is so much better, Dad. And I was like, so I don't got the Apple Music.
Well, see, it's crazy because it's like so like you've got like a Spotify family plan.
Yeah.
That's like a thing?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Like how much does the family plan cost?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's probably like like $30 or something, or like
Yeah.
like or maybe $20. Like who knows? Like like I'm thinking about like when I grew up, like we had iTunes,
Yeah.
but like we just burned CDs onto it.
Yeah.
Like
Exactly.
that's like, and I think like my mom's credit card was hooked up to it. And if we bought something with it, like. Because I probably told her like one time, I'm like, Mom, I need to download this My Chemical Romance song for a school project. Like she's like, okay, like here's credit card, don't buy anything, and
then it's on there.
Yeah, but like like that whole like thought of having a a monthly subscription for listening to music was like completely foreign 10 years ago. Like it's like what? Like I want to do that. That's crazy. And like now we're like, yeah, it's a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah, we get those things all the time I have 3 kids. They're getting older. One's about to be 18 here in just like a week or two or something like that. But yeah, we get the little dings all the time. We had to take the Amazon off and everything. You just get these little notifications like, oh, what did we buy? And then Myra figured out how to set everything where you have to approve it. Because The kids will go crazy. It's so easy. You just get the card on there one time. It's all locked and loaded. They're just like, going crazy. You're like, you can't do that. That's my money.
Yeah. I can't even trust myself with like all this stuff.
Right?
Like, do you know how easy it is to buy something on Amazon? Like,
no,
I swear to God,
kidding.
you look at it, you click
You
like,
click the one buy.
yeah,
The whoop.
it is just boom.
Fast.
I've done that before with like I have a really nice guitar, like a really nice guitar, a guitar I have no business like having.
What do you have, by the way?
It's a Gibson ES 335. And I got it because I was on Reverb, which is, the used music like web store. And I just wanted to see if I'd get approved for the financing. But like, it's kind of sneaky, man. Like they don't have like a check to see if you're approved thing. They have, you have to click checkout and then it's like, you click checkout with a firm. And so, but in my mind, I'm like, well, it's going to tell me what the interest rate would be. And then after the whole process, I'll choose whether I want to. Nope. It says like, okay, you're approved. Like, here's your interest rate. And then I'm like, okay, cool. Well, at the next screen, like, I'll just tell it I don't want it. And then it's like on the way. And I'm like,
okay.
And that's not unintentional. There is no way that is unintentional. Like that they have this
I know.
E-commerce
It reminds
design
me
like
of
that.
those meme videos where people are like walking along by the shoe store or whatever, and so the person trips them and they fall and they end up with the product.
Yeah.
And they're walking away like, what happened?
Yeah.
Oh well.
Yep.
guess I got to keep it. I'm looking at these, man. These are beautiful. What color is it?
The one I have is a olive drab color. So they did a limited run in 2020.
Oh my God.
And they don't make them anymore. And like,
really,
I can't get rid of it. Like I love it so much.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
I mean, it lives in a case. Like I don't touch
Do you play a lot
touch
of
it.
guitar? Do you ever play?
I write on guitar. Like that's like my main instrument for like writing.
I feel like you talked about it too. Did you? I can't remember what it was. Didn't you guys have a different drummer or somebody else in your band was playing drums in the beginning?
Oh
before Diego came along?
Yeah, our guitarist Tom, he was playing drums. But
Okay.
he plays guitar now. Like most of the dudes in the band are like multi-instrument. Like kind of like musicians.
Right,
Everyone has like their main thing, but everyone's like versed in all of it. So like really well-rounded musicians.
Yeah, dope. Hey Pierce, what do you say? We're maybe at that time.
A little bit of the
fun facts.
Yeah.
Let's go, buddy.
So last time you were here, we didn't do those kind of fun facts, and so we kind of brought them back. And so it's about 50 of it is 50 fun facts that I find every week.
How do you get a mic?
And I browse the internet.
No. How do our listeners?
If
Somebody's not
if they want to
subscribed?
get it. So yeah, just subscribe to Mike and Tony Show at gmail.com or go to our website, the Mike and
You
Tony
can
Show.
subscribe right there and then just be sent to you.
Yeah, you go to the Mikeandtonyshow.com. You can subscribe on the fun facts, and I'll put
Every
you on
week
the
you
list.
get approximately 13 trillion fun facts. I told him to do like 5.
Where where do you subscribe to the list?
on our website at themikeandtonyshow.com.
I'm gonna do this right now.
Yeah.
I host trivia. On,
Yeah.
Incredible.
Or just email me and I'll put you on the list, Duncan.
Okay, cool.
So today, just so you guys know, is National Pretzel Day. So there's going to be some pretzel fun facts.
I was
in
shocked
here.
at that one.
And then there's also, today is the anniversary of Chernobyl, when that went down and blew up. So yeah, $1.
Okay, let me see. I lost my text.
I got mine right here. Pretzels without salts are called baldies.
Yeah, that made me laugh. I literally laughed out loud when I read that. So where's the one I was looking for? The Hulk was. I'll get to that one in a little bit. Studying for 30 to 50 minutes with a 10-minute break is one of the best methods to improve your retention. So I actually texted that to myself because I work all the time. Being a teacher, I'm always doing stuff. And I have definitely noticed the longer I go, the less effective I am, the less efficient I am. So I'm going to actually just set a little timer, Mike, maybe do like 45-minute sessions and then take a little 10-minute break.
And see how much you retain.
Well, I don't have to retain anything.
Yeah.
Just like, because I just slow down.
Oh,
you start burning out when you're doing the same thing over and over and over again. So that was good.
This one right here. Radioactive rain fell as far as Ireland, Ukraine, Belarus, and Russia were the most affected countries. 63% of the radioactive fallout from Chernobyl hit them through the rain.
Oh, that's crazy.
That's wild.
Hey, Pierce, this one, I didn't actually know this. I was never much of a DC guy. I was always a Marvel guy.
Okay.
But everything makes so much more sense because sometimes Batman irritated me. Sometimes I'm like, how is he this special of a human being? But it says Batman is super smart. We all know he's super rich, but he's also supposed to have an IQ of 190 that's way higher than Einstein's measly 160.
Yeah.
So Batman has an IQ of 190. That kind of makes it all make sense for me.
He's
like,
smart.
okay, that's a crazy level of intelligence.
Yeah.
So maybe that's.
He didn't get rich just from his parents. He's not. What do they call that in the industry? The
industry plant.
The entertainment industry. What's it called?
What?
Where your parents are famous and you get the
nepo baby.
I was going to say
baby,
neposism.
yeah.
Oh, is that what it's called?
It's a
Nepo baby.
He's not a nepo baby.
Oh, interesting.
So, this one right here again, Chernobyl. Pripyat is heavily contaminated. Is a heavily contaminated city and will remain abandoned by humans as there are residues of dangerous plutonium in the area still, a substance that has a half-life of 24,000 years.
So you're going to need to stay away for a little while.
Yeah.
You have to spend just a little bit of time. People spend 46.9% of their day daydreaming. We understand so little about the brain, but I feel like dreaming, daydreaming, all those weird things that happen in your brain are all important in some way. One thing we talk about on the show a lot is sleep. Mm-hmm. Are you a big sleep guy? You think about it much? Yeah.
Well, it's funny. The other night I found myself at midnight, Googling, why do we sleep? Why is sleep important? And it was kind of interesting. Like the answer I found, and maybe this isn't the correct answer, but it was that we don't really know, we just know we need it.
Yeah, I've been down that rabbit hole. You can chase the studies for a little while, and then eventually you're just kind of like, there's no real answer. Like, why exactly we have to do this?
It's so strange. And then like, if you think about the concept of sleep, like if you explain that to like an alien, you're like if like aliens came to Earth and you're all like, they're like, okay, so like, what do you do with your time? And it's like, oh, well, like for like 8 hours a day, I like go make money. And they're like, what's money? You're like, oh, stuff we used to spend, like we
must be so
we
puzzling.
bribe each other with it to do stuff we don't want to do. And there's like, oh, okay, what do you do after that? It's like, oh, like I eat, and like that one makes sense. It's like, okay, like, yeah, you need more energy. And then it's like, then what do you do? It's like, well, then like I just turn off for the other third of the day.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Legit.
We know a lot about it, but that ultimate question of like, why exactly is it, and like what's going on there, we don't know. But there's a great book that I read, which I've brought up on the show 17,000 times, the Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker. Did you get a chance to check that out?
I haven't read it, but that was when
Where
I was
a
doing
lot
my
of the info
Googling.
was
Yeah, I was
from.
like, oh, like there's a book about this. So it's a good book.
It's a great book. In fact, he was a guest on Rogan's show one time, and he's fascinating to listen to. But it also made me realize that I might die in like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I don't sleep enough.
The
sleep is so important, and you realize all these things it does for your body. Why it happens that way, we don't know. But yeah. You got to sleep. Unless you're an elite like Mike.
Yeah, unless you're
one of the sleepless elite.
Like me, living off of 4 hours
17
of sleep,
minutes
no
a night.
problem. Yeah, 17 minutes a night, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, like, how often do you get more than 4 hours though?
What?
Wait, what?
No, what? No, I don't get more than 4 hours of sleep.
Ever?
Yeah. Well, sometimes, yeah. Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah,
Mostly I teeter around 5 hours.
He never gets sleep. We joked that he said it to his doctor. He told his doctor, I think I'm one of those sleepless elite. And his doctor, what did he say? He looked up from his clipboard.
Highly doubt it. I was like, oh, okay.
It's so rare, dude. It's so rare.
Yeah, because it's like 1% of the world's population is like a sleepless elite. So
yeah, and so I think that we should maybe Google this sometime. But I think if you are a sleepless elite and you have like an Oura ring or something, you're measuring your sleep, I would think you would have nothing but all blue markers, pierced, not red. Not everything's red.
That's not everything's red. My mental recovery is like 80%.
No, on
every
just
single
the
time.
sleep measure.
On just sleep.
Yeah, just the sleep stuff. Yeah, you do recover well.
Yeah,
that's good. Probably because you cold plunge and you do good things in your life or whatever. So.
Well, if sleep's not going to kill me, then a mosquito will kill me because mosquitoes have killed more humans than all wars in history.
That makes sense, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's 100%.
Bloodborne disease.
Yeah. Mostly probably in Africa.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
A lot of death, unfortunately. That's a way to take us to a happy place there, Pierce. January is named after the Roman god Janus. Janus was a temple god who could look forward and backward at the same time.
That's wild.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine having that ability.
So many different religions and forgotten religions. And you think, because I think of religion, you ever see like the tree of life or whatever, evolution or whatever, how things branch off and some things just die off. There's probably religions like crazy
that have died
throughout the history of humanity
that
nobody maybe knows about. There's not a lot of documentation of.
There's no Carlisms out there. There was a Carlism. The religion made by Carl.
Yeah. Tried to start like unsuccessful cults.
Oh my God. That sounds like a great book.
Unsuccessul cults.
Unsuccessful cults. Just doing a deep dive in history and seeing like what cults tried to come up.
We maxed out at 4 people.
Yeah. We could.
I mean, it's like, are the unsuccessful cults the ones that like where all the members ended up dying, or are the unsuccessful cults the ones that just didn't carry on?
Just didn't carry on, I think.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess that's the same thing.
Well, same thing. Right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, but like, like, there's, I don't know what cults, like, I can't remember the name of this cult, but like, where, like, they're all like, oh, we're going to all drink Kool-Aid and like,
we talked about
suicide.
this. That's
Heaven's Gate.
who it was.
Heaven's Gate, yeah.
Was it, that was cool.
That's a Heaven's Gate,
okay.
Yeah.
I had some hallucination apparently and thought there was Nikes involved.
Yeah.
I just for some reason thought there was Nikes involved too.
Wait, what?
You guys are tripping. There's no Nikes, you guys.
But why am I thinking Nike?
Like I thought they all. Thank you. Like I thought they
had,
all
like,
had the same.
jumpsuits?
No, they
Like
all
jumpsuits?
had
It was
this.
no. You're right. Yeah, they were all wearing the same Nikes.
Oh, Pierce. We had this exact conversation last week, and I think I lost, but I can't remember. Did we look it up?
I don't know. I don't think we
Same
looked it up.
Nikes. What was that called again?
Jumpsuits.
Heaven's Gate.
Just say jumpsuits. Because I think it was. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it was Heaven's Gate. Yeah.
It was Heaven's Gate. Yeah.
Yeah, let's see what we can find here. 19. Yeah, it's totally legit, Pierce. 1990. This is on Reddit right here. 1993 Nike Decades, aka Heaven's Gate Nikes. So, I'm making an assumption here. Maybe here's Vice, the Heaven's Gate Nikes and the sneakerheads. So there's I don't know the details. That's not telling us much. Just looking at the headlines, but that is Vice. They're not that great. They look like my dad's shoe Nikes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the style now, though.
Some Monarchs, Air Monarchs.
Yeah. Interesting. Oh, yeah. And sneakerheads are pretty into collecting them. A lot of them. You wouldn't collect those.
No,
You're a sneakerhead, but you would not.
I don't want no Heaven's Gates.
Bro, I feel so, what's the word?
Justified.
Justified. Yeah. Vindicated.
Vindicate, yeah.
Vindication, Pierce.
Talking about sleep, koalas sleep for 22 hours a day.
What do they do the other 2 hours?
Eating shit. Yeah.
That's so wild.
Yo, if reincarnation's a thing, like I want to come back.
I'll
to
take
koala.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just sleep all day.
Koalas are filthy animals. They're like the highest like STD rated like animals.
So you're telling me that all they do is sleep
and fuck
eat,
during that time. Yeah.
fucking shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
And there's also not a whole because they eat eucalyptus.
Uh-huh.
There's not a whole lot of nutrients in eucalyptus for like the babies, and so the babies also eat parent shit.
Bro, in some places,
So I don't want to be a baby koala.
in some places, certain populations of koalas have up to an 89% chlamydia infection rate.
Dang,
Like 89% of them have chlamydia.
it sounds like an old person's home.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. I was like, where is this? Like Miami-Dade? Or what? Palm Beach? Yeah.
Aren't they? Don't they get angry too? Koalas?
No,
Like
they
if
have
you
that
mess with
weird.
them?
They have that weird like growl, like like it's like being choked, which it probably is.
Oh, it's rare, yeah.
Sex, chlamydia stuff.
You went there. Yeah, they will only bite if they feel threatened. Okay, so they're not really aggressive. Interesting.
And how fast is a fucking koala if they're sleeping 22 hours a day? Like, come on, dude. You have to be
They got the energy, man.
Oh,
Like, you know?
That makes me wonder how long a sloth sleeps. Because they move so slow.
Deep dive dollar. Here we go.
Yeah. Let's see. It is 15 to 18 hours. They do
Dang.
sleep a lot.
That's how much like dogs sleep.
Man, I can't believe I
Yeah, my
realized
dog sleeps
it's not on the
for a
show.
long time, yeah.
I don't have kids. I have koalas and sloths.
You have koalas and sloths
Yeah.
that live here.
I have 2 sloths and a koala in my house. No, teenagers actually really, really need sleep. It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
super, super important.
Hormonal and all
Yeah,
that
yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Way more than us old dudes need.
Yeah. How about this? Superman himself was actually originally bald. And then they were like, oh, this probably doesn't do as well.
It's funny to hear those things they tried. There's another one in here about Hulk was originally gray.
Yeah.
He was supposed to be gray, but then
the
green
ink was cheaper.
Yeah.
They're good. I could so see that.
Yeah.
And they said, oh, it actually looks better. It's cheaper. And so let's make him green.
Yeah.
Like, but it's like
That's so interesting, like the way artistic decisions were made, with a consideration for, what color of ink was cheapest.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
green? Okay.
Like a really practical consideration.
Yeah,
right?
which
Yeah.
ended up, you can't imagine Hulk not being green now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess that's how things always are. Because to this day, I'm an acoustic guitar player. And when I was 15, I wanted nothing more to be like a raging electric guitar player.
Right.
And for years, and all I could get my hands on was an acoustic because I couldn't buy one. It was usually a friend's or something. And then I finally was able to get them. I played a telly for a little while, but I'm just like, nah, I like the acoustic. Yeah. Funny how that happens.
Yeah.
From random. There's a randomness to art, I think.
I think there's too. I think there's a simplicity and beauty in using what you have around you to make art.
It's almost, because some people go to great lengths, right? They have a very specific vision in mind. They know exactly what materials or whatever it is, depends on what you're doing, music or art. And then some of the best stuff does. It just comes about like that. It's just sort of, what do we got here? Like, what are we working with? You already read the radioactive one. What was the one? I had sent one to myself. Oh, yeah. And speaking of another comic book one, Captain America's name was going to be Super American. I don't even know what to say.
Super American. No, that sounds dumb.
When was Captain America, when was that, the first one of those published?
He was the first Avenger, so it was like during like World War II.
It was,
like that. Yeah.
It was propaganda, right?
Yeah.
Like essentially, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see, 1940, Captain America's Comics, #1, published on December 20th, 1940 by Timely Comics.
That's
Timely
crazy, dude, because that's when they were doing the draft.
Yeah.
People, a lot of people think that the draft for World War II didn't start until 41, but it started in 40.
Yeah. They were prepping.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it makes sense.
Everyone in the government's like, no, we want to stay out of it. But let's start getting some dudes
it.
together. Yeah, they were working on it.
Just
Yeah,
in case.
Yeah.
Just in case we're going to have a little war here.
Here we go. We're talking about the internet. The word meme was invented in 1976 by Richard Dawkins.
Richard Dawkins is it the same Richard Dawkins like the evolutionist guy?
I don't know.
He wrote the book something about it explains evolution as a clock. Interesting. He's a really famous dude.
But it means mimina in Greek, which means imitated.
What means that again?
Mimina in Greek. It means imitated.
Mm.
So meme is short for that.
So it's like an imitation.
You know who I can't stand? It's the pronunciation. Sorry, of meme.
How ironic was that just now?
It's Fran.
Oh,
Fran calls it a meme.
I mean,
what?
And I'm like, just like.
Does he also say GIF?
I'm like, it's a meme, bro. It's like, no, it's a meme.
Where did he get that from?
Sign? What are you doing? Come on, dude.
Just random. He didn't
just
pick that up anywhere.
No, he just says, yeah.
He's hoping it'll catch
It's
on.
a meme. It's a meme. I'm like, no. So whenever he says that to me, he's like, I saw this one meme online. I'm like, you saw what? A meme, I was like, no, I don't know what you fucking mean. What's a meme?
If you didn't have such an incredible record on he's been challenged on the fun facts many times where people say that's not true. And every time we do a deep dive at the end of the day, they always come out true. So this one, I didn't know about. I haven't Googled it. I don't bother to Google nearly as much. I just lost it. But it was the Thor one about there was another character called what was it called? It was a frog.
It was a frog that had the Thor.
Thog. It was called Thog,
Thog.
right? Called Thog, and it was part of the Marvel Avenger Pets.
Yeah.
Right? Was that what it was?
Yeah.
What the hell? That's real?
Yeah. Well, it's just like Super Dog, Superman's dog. The Thog is.
Are they ever in the actual comics, like the Avenger comics or anything? Or it's probably like it's a kid's version or something.
I don't know, but I could see like a new MCU Disney Plus TV show.
Right?
100%.
Thog, dude. Like
100% Thog.
Thog. Flowing locks of hair on a frog.
Wait. Do you guys have a favorite Avenger?
Do you, Pierce?
Yeah. I like Iron Man.
Oh, God.
Badass. And then Robert Downey Jr.'s character just like made it like over the top and just really good.
I believe he is the highest grossing actor of all time.
Is he?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's like, even after that, I mean, doing the Oppenheimer and like he has another film again right now, right? That's supposed to be like another Oscar award winning movie too. But yeah, he's fucking ridiculous. And he's been around since the 80s too. So he's made millions of movies too. So
yeah.
I had nobody's ever asked me that before. I was always an X-Men guy. I really like the X-Men.
Okay.
But I think I would go with Beast.
The Beast? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The Beast.
Yeah, less known. Not one of the big. There's like Hulk, Iron Man, Captain America. This list is tremendous. Some of these I don't even know.
Oh yeah.
Didn't Kelsey Grammer do the voice for Beast or something at one point in time?
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. He had that like super deep voice or whatever. Yeah, some of these I've never heard of. Have you heard of these people like Pietro Maximoff?
Yeah, that's Quicksilver.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's the son of Magneto.
It's Wanda Maximoff.
Oh,
like,
these a lot of these are listed as
Wait, is
their
that son of
actual
Magneto?
names.
Is it son of Magneto? I thought it was son of Magneto, right? Quicksilver? I think
It might be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, this is crazy. I just didn't realize how many of these were Quicksilver. The first, Oh, his first appearance in Marvel Comics was actually in X-Men.
Yeah. Quicksilver.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, Quicksilver's pretty dope too, actually. Were you guys big comic guys, or are you? No.
Just I love the movies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't collect them anymore, but as a kid, it was a big thing.
And when I was a kid, the X-Men Saturday morning cartoon, like watching that was pretty dope.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. Favorite X-Men?
Wolverine.
Oh yeah.
Without a doubt. Let's go. Gotta be. I was so pissed though. He was pretty good, but I was pissed about what's his face playing him in the movie, Hugh Jackman or whatever, because Hugh Jackman's like 6'4". Wolverine was so small.
Yeah, he's a short guy. Yeah,
Bro.
he's a short.
I was like, that was part of it. He was scrappy, like a Wolverine. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like this little dude that will fuck you up.
Yeah.
But what was his actual height?
You know, also I liked too on the X-Men. I did like Gambit.
Yeah, Gambit's cool. Yeah.
That like Mon Ami, his little
Mhm.
Creole that he had, the Cajun style that he had.
X-Men is a cool concept. Like I feel like it could have gone so much further cinematically, like than it ended up going. I mean, the movies are really tight.
Yeah, for
but,
sure.
Like if they had been able to utilize that when they were doing the whole MCU thing, like a decade ago, like
Oh yeah,
could be so cool.
for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. By the way, Wolverine's 5'3".
Oh, okay. So just a whole foot.
Yeah,
a whole foot they gave him, bro. His long arms and all
But
this
that's
stuff.
not canon.
Yeah, which I just found it weird because I'm like, he's he's a little dude. You can't have this gigantic guy play Wolverine. It's part of the character. That's what a Wolverine is.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. You underestimate him.
How many 5'3" actors are out there though, dollar, that are?
It's just the way Hollywood runs. No, it's not very popular.
Wait, how tall's Tom Cruise?
He's not 5'3". I don't think he's that.
like
Can you imagine if he's
or
that small?
5'6",
Yeah, let's see. Tom Cruise height.
5'6", 5'7".
5'7", yeah. Good,
And
look at you right on the money.
I love some Tom Cruise movies, but like I will say, I've noticed the way they frame the shots are so as you cannot tell.
Yeah.
That he's
his
short,
height.
yeah.
Oh, a shit ton of
he's
that
a little
happens.
bit short, yeah. And there's a couple actors that like you really see it with, but like Tom Cruise, it is like crazy.
Yeah.
How much
He always looks bigger than life.
Oh yeah, and I'm just like, dude, like, I guess the three of us can't really say anything about it because like we're all 6 foot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, which like I never thought about. So like if you're insecure about being 5 foot, whatever, like I'm like, yeah, that's your experience, and I don't want to like diminish that.
Yeah.
But like, just own it, man. Just like
We've gone off on this show. We talked about the razors, or what do they call them?
Heels.
The raised heels
Yeah.
they have for shoes now. And then we got in deep. There's all these guys that it's so popular now. Like thousands of people have done it where they do this surgery to lengthen their legs.
yeah,
And like you said, you don't think about it. If you're over 6 foot your whole life, you don't really.
it's tall privilege. Yeah.
Yeah. But then you don't realize for some people, like if I was 5'3", I'm like, I think, what would be the big deal? But I'm sure you're going to be like, yeah, it's a big deal. I don't want to be 5'3".
And I think the average height for a man in the U.S. is like 5'6" or 5'7".
This came up. Yeah. We looked,
It was like 5'9", I think it was, right?
Was it that high? No, I think you said that last time.
Oh, it's
maybe it was in the middle. It might have been 5'8".
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, so another person that's always surprising is Ben Stiller. Ben Stiller's 5'7" too.
Oh, really?
But they make him look
Whoa.
bigger in movies.
You know
too,
who
right?
I just found out is short as hell, and I had no idea all these years. I always thought they were like your height, Pierce.
Who?
Usher.
Really?
He's tiny, bro. I don't know why I thought he was tall. I always thought Usher. I was like, yeah, he's got to be well over 6 foot.
No.
He just looks like it.
No,
I don't
he's
know
a
why
dancer.
it was.
He's a dancer.
Yeah, there's not a lot of over 6 foot dancers. Huh? Yeah. What is his height again? It's like 5'8". Yeah.
Okay.
So he's got Jared beat by an inch.
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say that's like short as shit, you know, like I would just say that's
No.
height. But like, I think it would be really surprising to me to like meet Tom Cruise because, you know, seeing him in movies so much, like I would think he's like 5'11", 6'1".
Yeah.
And then like, you know, you'd meet him though, and he's like, you know, 5'7" or whatever. And like,
Right.
that's where it's weird to me. You know, it's almost like, you know, like, I mean, like if you're like on dating profiles, like trying to make yourself look like you're like how you don't look. Like, it's like, okay, yeah, but like whenever you meet someone, like they're gonna notice that, like, oh, like by the way, Tom Cruise is actually not the height of a F-16. Like he's like normal dude height.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know who they did it with was Vin Diesel and The Rock.
Oh, really?
Fast and Furious. He literally had to say, because their height's so different.
Really?
But in the movie, they look the same height.
The Rock is like 6'4".
Oh yeah.
So Rock height. Let's look up his height first. So Rock is 6'4".
Vin Diesel's like 6 foot.
I don't think he's that tall.
Yeah, I don't either.
Really?
I feel like he's like
God, look at this guy. He's 6 foot.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's interesting. I assumed because they had to put him on a thing to make him taller, he was just a really short dude. But it makes sense that he's not because he's standing next to the fucking Rock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a giant.
But that's like,
human
you know, the other thing too that puts height into perspective is like the NBA, right? And so like Steph Curry, for example, people are like, you know, they see all these players and
Think
then they
he's
see
small.
Steph Curry and think he's small, but Steph Curry is as tall as me. He's 6'3". And so when you see him, and then you're like, oh damn, okay.
It's all relative.
Yeah.
I saw a picture recently of Shaq talking to somebody, and Shaq was looking up at the guy, a basketball player. I don't know who it was, but
Victor.
Yeah, maybe.
Wembanyama. He's
fucking
like 7 foot.
wild though
Yeah,
to see
he's like
Shaquille O'Neal.
7'4".
Because if you ever saw Shaquille O'Neal in person, I mean,
yeah.
he's fucking so tall, bro.
Yeah.
What is his height? Over 7, right?
Well, they say he's built at like 7'2", but Shaq's like 7.
That's another thing that happens all the time is heights. We remember that from JD. We had a friend who he's come on the show a couple times, was fought in Bellator MMA, and he was officially listed at like 5'10".
Yeah.
I look eye to eye with the dude. I'm like, there's no way. He's got to be at least 6'1", 6 foot, something like that. But it's funny how, you know, once you get billed, then you're just officially on stats. That's your height, whatever. So he'd get into those fights, you know, and you're looking at the other guy, and you're just like, dude, there's no way. There's no way.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it says like Shaq 7'2" or something, or 7'1".
Oh yeah, I never did look up.
But he's like 7 foot, dude.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, you can only try. He's 7'1" according to Google.
Yeah.
That's just crazy, man.
But still, 7. That's a tall ass human. Like
Yeah.
He's a full foot taller than me, bro.
yeah.
Like it's if I meet someone that's like, you know, like 6'6", I'm definitely like, yo, you're tall.
Yes.
I can't comprehend meeting someone that's a
Taller
whole
than-
foot taller than me. Like,
Yeah.
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 I know.
Yeah. Well, that's how like that picture I showed him. I met Bill Walton, and Bill Walton is like 6'11". And so me,
looks so small.
and so me, I'm like this, and one of the pictures I'm taking, I'm like this. I'm like, damn, I don't have to look up to very many people.
right.
And it's just, when I saw him, I was like, God dang, dude.
Yeah. Yao Ming, 7'6".
Yeah.
7'6". Sound like somebody flipped the numbers around, bro.
Yeah. Well, it's like another one who like Jorge Mirasan is like 7'7" or 7'8".
Oh my god.
Yeah.
bro.
Imagine that, dude. Just like, and they were showing like his hands, like with like a regular can of Coke, and is like this. He's holding it like this. Like it's a juice
Looks like
box.
one of those, yeah. Or one of those little mini cans
That's
or whatever.
just crazy, dude.
Yeah, human variety is so crazy. When you see like all the different, you know, the impact of the climates that we live in, and then people have been in certain areas, and it's more advantageous to be bigger or smaller or whatever. And you look at the variety of humans. I'm not sure if this is true, but I would venture to guess there's not another species on Earth that has that much variety in what the physical morphology looks like when they have the same genetics, same species, same everything.
Well, I mean, dogs.
Yeah, but we messed with them though. Like
Yeah.
they haven't evolved. But I mean, unless you consider the way we evolved, because it is really unique the way humans evolved compared to everything else. But dogs, like we intentionally, you know, over years, like bred them, because that is fucking crazy. When you see like a Chihuahua and then like your dog,
Yeah.
Duchess,
Yeah.
you're just like, man, that's the same species. That's unbelievable.
Well, and it's crazy to think about, like when you think about evolution, that like we will never see human evolution, like in our lifetimes.
in the blink of an eye.
Yeah.
because our lifespans are so long. I mean, you know, in comparison to how long, you know,
So short, right?
you know, our perspective is, you know, personally, and like,
Oh yeah.
and as a, you know, a whole scientific collective, like we can't really measure human evolution. But
Yeah.
Wow, that went by fast. Dude, thanks for coming back. I want you to come back again. You're fun to have.
Hey, thanks, man.
We'll have you come to the regular studio every time. Can't wait to meet Diego, talk a little production.
Yeah.
Who do we got coming up next week, Pierce?
We got a couple of singer-songwriters, but I want to shout out that he has a few shows coming up here. May 7th at the Marquee. Then he also has May 24th in Fort Collins at the Coast. And then on May 25th, you have Colorado Springs, the Vultures, correct?
Yeah.
Let's go.
So if you want to go check out some of those things from Relate, check it out.
Website?
Go on their website.
Relate.
At Relate Denver on Instagram.
Yeah. And they have a link tree. You can get their merchandise like I did.
Oh, yeah.
Get a t-shirt.
Thank you, Duncan. Appreciate you, brother.
Yo,
with
thank you
that
for having
dollar?
me.
With that $1, it is a wrap.
Cheers.